All right, so first thing this morning, I see trending on X, Bill Gates again, right? It's not uncommon. He trends from time to time. At the top of the trending, I was just curious. I was just curious this morning. I was like, what is it now? What has he done? What is he saying? I don't know. I was curious. But at the top of the list, right, there's a video that has gained lots of attention because it's this video of them releasing mosquitoes over the United States. And the caption explains that Bill Gates has released all these mosquitoes and we don't know why, but shouldn't we be curious of why, right? I mean, if he's releasing mosquitoes, we should wonder, what is he trying to do, right? All right, so as I've said, these posts, I'm neither endorsing nor attacking Bill Gates by any means. If you like him, okay, good for you. If you dislike him, good for you. I don't really care either way how you feel about him. I'm just breaking down information because I think this is an important example. This isn't really about Bill Gates. This is really just an example for what we do when we utilize social media the way that most people utilize it, right? People utilize it to attack one another. People utilize it to spread information, sometimes good, sometimes bad, sometimes helpful, sometimes not so helpful. But the key is to ultimately become better at spreading information that's going to help either your business, your cause, your whatever it is that's motivating you to put this information out there in the first place. It should actually be beneficial towards that, instead of just being content that maybe doesn't do exactly what you want it to do. So let's say, from the wording of the post, I gather that these people were not fans of Bill Gates. That's fine. Let's say you're one of those people. Let's say you're one of the many people that really thinks Bill Gates is a bad man, an evil man, a powerful man who's trying to cause harm to the planet, or harm to the United States, or just humankind in general, maybe. And maybe you're right. But let's err on the side of you being accurate, right? If you believe you're accurate, let's all of us, for the sake of this discussion, let's everybody watching, let's believe they're right? Whether you agree or not. So he's a bad man, he's an evil man, he's doing these horrible things, right? And he's trying to take down humankind, right? Well, these mosquitoes had nothing to do with him. And they didn't. They had nothing to do with him. This is actually something that back in the 80s, they tried once before. They're trying to release, they tried this in the 80s and they weren't very successful, but the idea is trying to release different types of mosquitoes that are, the idea is that ultimately some of these, they're infertile, or they're unable to carry certain bacteria and viruses and diseases and things like that. Mosquitoes can be incredibly harmful, but a lot of mosquitoes are pretty harmless also. But the thing is people have had diseases and illnesses and things like that they speculate was transferred through mosquitoes. They've been speculating this for decades, right? They said certain diseases and illnesses that have come from other countries, that have crossed state lines, that have crossed country lines, that have crossed oceans. That a lot of these things have actually been, that mosquitoes have been a culprit many times. So they tried releasing mosquitoes that will somehow counter this, right? There's a lot of science that goes into it, and ultimately what they want to do is stop the spread of illnesses through mosquitoes. And they figure by releasing these mosquitoes that other mosquitoes can die off, and there will be less spread of illness and disease. Again, like I said, this ultimately, they tried it in the 80s, it did not work. Apparently they've been working on trying it again for some time now, And they decided to try it again now, right? Especially with, I mean, I don't really know. They haven't released all the information, but I mean, if you really look at it and think about it, the idea that they're speculating a new strand of COVID, and I'm not endorsing or trying to scare anyone, but just the idea that ultimately COVID's still around. There's a virus still going around. There's also dozens and dozens and dozens of other viruses going around, and they constantly discover new things, new hybrid viruses and illnesses and sicknesses, bacteria and all these different things. And mosquitoes have been linked to being a culprit many times before. Is it possible that mosquitoes could be linked and could potentially be a culprit in the future? Maybe. Yeah, it's possible. A lot of things are possible. So is somebody trying to do something good and help? I don't know, maybe. Is somebody just trying to play God, so to speak, and saying, well, I think this is dangerous and I could find a way to manipulate the science and the biosphere, so to speak, and I could, manipulate the environment. Maybe somebody's a scientist trying to play God. Maybe. But ultimately, the point here is that people dislike Bill Gates. They have linked this to Bill Gates and said Bill Gates did it. Bill Gates and the Bill Gates Foundation has had absolutely nothing to do with this. But I'm a realist, okay? I'm a realist. I am not by any means I believe that honestly that yes, lots of people can get to high levels of power and wealth and position in life through doing nothing but good acts. They can. Do I believe that people typically do? No, I don't believe they typically do. I believe that many people, most people that get to that level, they get their hands dirty at some point. Do I believe that all of them are bad people? No. But do I believe they get their hands dirty? I do. Because we're people and we live in a world of sin. And there's something about power that corrupts people. There's something about power that makes people think different. It's something about power that makes people begin to act different and give in to their own sinful nature. I think that's a real thing. So do I believe Bill Gates is an evil man? I don't know. Do I believe that lots of people believe he is? Yes, lots of people believe he is. Now, because lots of people believe he is, they're going to spread this video, they're going to spread this information out there. And what I believe they're doing is the opposite of what they want to do. They want to put information out there to spread awareness that this man is trying to take down humanity. If you really believe he is, which he might be, I don't know, nor do I. I really care. I don't really care because I don't think he has the power that he thinks he does. I think his ego has gotten the best of him at sometimes, and so I think he believes he has more power than he actually does, and so I think he believes he can make things happen that he actually can't. Now, some people believe that he is all powerful and that he is making things happen, and that's okay too. I'm not, maybe you're right, maybe I'm wrong. That's totally plausible. It's a complete realistic possibility that I'm wrong and you're right. Maybe he is much more powerful than I believe he is. Now, the thing is, though, like I said, this is an instance where he's had nothing to do with it. He's had absolutely nothing to do with it. But by linking him to this and by spreading this information, all you're doing is you're creating doubt amongst the masses. Anybody who sees these posts, some people are gullible and they'll buy anything they see because they don't bother to check things out. They don't bother to follow up and actually research and see if these things, they take blurbs, they take little posts, they take little Instagrams as facts, little X posts and threads, Facebook quotes and videos. They take all this as fact and it's not. So the thing is the problem is that when you spread these things and they're linked incorrectly, even if the person who did this is doing this for harm, he didn't have anything to do with this. And by linking him to it, you take away the credibility of not only yourself, but future posts that people find out that, hey, this man has done this thing. This man has done this thing. This man has done this thing, and this thing. And it's like, well, the first one that I saw was a lie, so I'm not even reading anymore. See, you started to create doubt and unreliability, and you started to make people question more. Not question like, hey, let me research more, but question the validity of actually reading in the first place. If you really believe this man to be a bad man and an evil man and an all-powerful man, make sure the things you post are credible. Otherwise, you not only damage your credibility, but others. And like I said, this isn't really about Bill Gates because I don't really care. Because I don't believe him to be all that powerful. I believe him to be rich, not powerful. I think there's a difference. I know there's a difference. Some people don't, though. But the thing is this is what people do with social media. They misuse social media, and they post these things that they feel like they're pouring their heart out. Sometimes it's about their business. Sometimes it's about their cause. Sometimes it's about their family. People cause division through social media because people get real brave behind a keyboard. And they say things without thought. They say things because they don't think they have to think. Because they're like, I'm just going to put this out there because it needs to be said, because I was feeling it at the moment. So they quickly post it. And then later, even if they realize that they've said something incorrect or wrong, they're not going to discredit themselves. So they just let it ride. It's cognitive dissonance. They start to believe their own fabrications, the own nonsense that they post, because they can't possibly go against their own thought process, because that causes a disruption in their own mentality. They don't like that. Nobody feels comfortable with that. None of us do. You know, it takes a lot. It takes a lot to go against what you've been believing for a long time. It's like, hey, this is what I believe. This is what I posted. This is what I said. I got a lot of people who commented on it and they liked it and they had all this feedback and they were supporting me. And now I realize I'm incorrect. Nah, I must be mistaken right now. I had to have been right before because there were so many people supporting me. I had to have been right. Either that or their ego takes a hit and they're like, well, I'm not going to lose all that. I have all these comments. I have thousands of likes. I have thousands of people, tens of thousands of people sharing it. I can't possibly undo that. Where will I be without it? I'll stand by what I said. Doesn't matter. This is what we do. This is what causes feuds in families. This is what causes disruption within society and neighborhoods and communities based on political values, political opinions, perspectives. It causes disruptions. You know, when you're trying to develop your business and you allow emotion to get in the way and then you post these emotions on social media, business partners have fallen out. Businesses have crumbled. There's been division not just in our country, not just in our communities, but within small businesses, even within small families, even within households over these things. It was recently said you should not post anything, shouldn't post anything on social media that you care about that's heavier than whether beans belong in chili or not. Because if you really care about it, posting it on social media, if you care about a cause, a drive, a motivation, a movement, a political stance, a religious one, if you care about these things genuinely, if you post it on social media the wrong way, in the wrong manner, you literally set the cause back rather than moving it forward. There's statistical evidence to show that this is a valid thing. there's a book called The Coddling of the American Mind. Now, the two authors weren't really fans of the title, but it was what the publishers wanted. But it's a book that actually, they dive into all this and really break down how these statistics have been gathered and how it is that posting on social media actually damages the cause that you're trying to support. So I want y'all to take that away. Like I said, this wasn't really about Bill Gates. Bill Gates was just a perfect example and a perfect introduction to what it is that I was trying to say and how it is that I was trying to convey that social media needs to be utilized for the amazing tool that it can be. And y'all need to be aware of what you're posting and what you're doing when you post these things. All right, it's your boy. Stay tuned. Hit that like, subscribe button, ding the bell, get your notification. I got more coming at you. I'm out.